We begin with breaking news as Kenner Mayor Ben Zahn announced he is rescinding his recent policy banning Nike products from recreational department use.
That policy got the attention of some Saints players and far beyond as it sparked debates on the national level. Paul Murphy joins us live where Ben Zahn just held a news conference. Paul?
Tom, Natalie, we are in Veterans Memorial Park just behind Kenner City Hall, a patriotic backdrop for Mayor Ben Zahn's comments on his Nike ban. In a short statement, Zahn said, based on the advice of his city attorney, he is now scrapping that controversial policy. Zahn's reversal comes less than a week after he sent out a memo forbidding booster clubs affiliated with Kenner's Recreation Department from buying Nike apparel and requiring that all booster club purchases be approved by the city's recreation director. The policy was widely criticized and drew protests and negative attention nationally and here in Kenner. Recently, Nike started running ads featuring former NFL quarterback Colin Kaepernick. Kaepernick is best known for kneeling during the national anthem to bring attention to police brutality and racial injustice. Zahn said he didn't want any taxpayer money spent to promote the shoe and apparel company's political agenda. The ACLU condemned Zahn's policy, saying it violates the First Amendment and called on the mayor to rescind it immediately, and that's what he did late this afternoon.
Acting upon advice from the city attorney, I have rescinded my memorandum of September 5th, 2018. That memorandum divided our city and placed Kenner in a false and unflattering light on the national stage. I am passionate about my country and the brave men and women who put themselves on the front line every day. In the name of protecting us all, members of the armed forces, our fire departments, our police departments, actually sacrificed everything, their very lives. It is because of those sacrifices that my patriotism will not waver. But my focus needs to be on the city of Kenner and the many great projects we have in store for our city. Nothing can be allowed to distract us from that very important endeavor.
In principle, what you choose to wear is part of your freedom of expression. And if you choose to wear Nike gear, the Nike logo, that in this case, given all of the political messages that are tied up into it, it can be seen as a political statement. And so attempting to prevent people from doing that is really suppressing political speech.
And Mayor Zahn did take a few questions from reporters, but chose not to discuss the potential negative impact his Nike policy had on business here in Kenner, or how it was perceived by Latinos and African Americans living in the city. We're live in Kenner, Paul Murphy, Eyewitness News.